Bike builder Aykut Tataroglu is a real character, well known in the Harley and custom bike scene. Aykut stands out from the crowd in every sense, not just because of his incredible bike building skills, but also because of his individual look and his dedication to lifestyle. I've made sure it's nice and cozy here because this is basically where I live, you know, seeing that I actually spend most of my time in here. Aykut's life revolves around one thing, Harley-Davidson, but not the way they leave the production line, that's taboo. He converts and individually customizes each bike. Aykut is a true wizard with stainless steel and aluminium. Like a true artist, he fashions all the parts he needs himself. And this, so far, the jewel in the crown of his creative endeavors. The Stage 1, a muscle bike which represents Aykut's unique style down to a T. I have to really like the bike I'm building. The main thing is that it also reflects my personality. The Stage 1 is a great bike. Stage 2 will be next. That one is going to be a two-wheeled giant. Aykut has got his work cut out with the Stage 2. The idea is that the bike will hit the custom scene like a bombshell. Even the first steps are anything but conventional. I don't use a computer to design a custom bike. I do all that with it up on the hydraulic ramp, as I'm crap at drawing anyway. So that's where I put all the bike together, the way I want it to look, work out the lines and all that. It's not unusual for this creative process to take all night and a bottle of wine. Once he's worked it out, there's no stopping him. He's teamed up with Fogger, yet another really skillful individual who's always there for him. Working the metal is a labor of love. Thoroughness and exactness are top priorities for Aykut. Everything has to flow, you know, the joints, you know, everything has to fit just so. The lines have to be just right. I mean, the lines are the most important thing. A bike that has no lines has no real character, I think. Aykut checks each and every single step of the process over and over again. He will not tolerate shoddy workmanship. Next step, once the frame is finished, fitting the engine. Oh boy, is that heavy. This is a 2-liter S&S engine with precisely 2,030 cubic capacity, and the open version does 135 horsepower on the wheel. The engine is charged by a compressor with between 0.6 and 0.9 bar, which means it's going to produce anything between 165 and 225 horsepower on the back wheel. Whilst Aykut is busy fitting the gearbox, Fogger tackles the wheels, which are most unusual. Right, well, this is a 20-spoke wheel developed by Aykut. One of these spokes can handle up to 9 tons of pulling power. Fashioning the swing arm is no easy task. First of all, the back wheel is fitted as it needs to be in place for determining the exact distance between the center of the main gear shaft and the center of the wheel axle. The slightest measuring error could be fatal. Then they start. Constructing the swing arm is complicated. Aykut is working like a maniac. I don't have much of a private life, really, simply because I spend around 17, 18 hours a day in the garage. I only go home to sleep. Then I get up again in the morning to come here, and I've been doing that for years now. For the swing arm to be really shiny, it needs to be polished, a job which leaves its marks. Whenever you've been polishing, you look as if you're in a right state. It's really messy work. But you just have to grin and bear it. It's all part of the job. If I got it polished somewhere else and, say, it came back streaky, I might as well throw the whole swing arm away, as it's almost impossible to get the streaks out afterwards. That's why I prefer to do stuff like that myself. Finally, the moment of truth. fitting the swing arm. Only now will Aykut and Fogger be able to tell whether they've measured correctly. The swing arm doesn't fit. Aykut and Fogger suspect that it got warped during welding. The two of them leave the garage totally frustrated. Next morning, the time for action has come. Aykut's plan: take it out, put it back on the repair bench, measure it again. That, however, will be Fogger's job. The boss needs a break. Frantically, Fogger starts to look for the fault. He doesn't want to disappoint his boss. Aykut, on the other hand, lets it all out in a different way. Aykut visits Chris, his tattooist. Following the usual exchange of pleasantries, he tells Chris all about his stressful day. Getting a new tattoo of a panhead engine is just what the doctor ordered by way of R&R. Whilst tattooist Chris prepares Aykut's arm, Fogger is still searching for the fault. He measures the swing arm on the measuring plate with a gauge. Yes, well, you put the front points on here so that you basically move it left and right to see whether they're in line. But the way it looks here, that is just right.
Aber so wie das dahinter aussieht, stimmt die ganz genau.
A panhead engine forever. Aykut doesn't have any second thoughts. Tattoos reflect your personality, and Harley is my life, so I get a tattoo of a panhead engine because this engine is an icon. Meanwhile, back at the garage, relief.
The
problem solved. There is nothing wrong with the swing arm. It's definitely the axle that's the problem. Could be that it got dropped at some point. In fact, that's the only explanation. Right, Aykut, we're finished. Excellent idea. Works really well. A shovel head on one side, a pan head on the other. Both iconic engines. Back at the garage, Aykut asks Fogger how the swing arm is doing. It turns out that the problem was just a bent knockout spindle. What a relief. Cheers to the swing arm.
Ja, da war nur die Steckachse krumm.
Echt?
Ja.
So eine kleine Lappalie?
Ja.
Top, jetzt saufen wir einen drauf, komm. Prost, auf die Schwinge.
But then the next setback. Aykut's mechanic has disappeared. We had a row, and I want that bike finished. I've got plenty of deadlines and no mechanic. I'm going to call a few of my mates now. Hopefully someone will be able to help.
Servus Hans. Servus Jakob. Ja, servus Uwe. Du hast du Zeit, kann man nichts machen.
Aykut makes one call after the other and draws a blank again and again. Then at last... All right, Nobbe, it's me, Aykut. Listen, I need a mechanic, and pronto. Got the time to help me out? Just a little bit of grinding, some welding. Wow, mate, bloody brilliant. See you tomorrow at 8 then. Bye. That was a stroke of luck. Yes, that'd be great. I love it. Aykut is glad that Nobbe is there to help him in his hour of need, even though, as far as Nobbe is concerned, it's not worth mentioning. That's what friends are for. Nobbe is actually a carpenter by trade. He can't wait to see what's in store for him.
Ja, junger Vater Aykut.
Nobbe is not sure whether he can really be of much help at all, but Aykut is brimming with confidence in his friend, provided he changes into a proper outfit first.
Aber vorher brauche ich erst mal eine Schere.
Aykut explains what he is planning to do that day. He wants Nobbe to cut out the stainless steel sheet metal for the tank with the plasma cutter.
Das Edelstahlblech mit dem Plasmaschneider rauszuschneiden.
Nobbe still lacks confidence. Once more, Aykut has to show him what it is that he wants done. He warns him to treat the machine with due respect. It will cut through anything. Mind the table and your fingers.
Du darfst hier nicht drüber schneiden, weil das schneidet alles durch, das Teil.
Ah ja, ist in Ordnung.
Du musst das so hinstellen, außerhalb von dem Tisch schneiden und ja die Finger weglassen, weil sobald du mit dem Finger drüber fährst, ist der Finger ab, dann ist er weg. Okay, checkst du das? Ich bin wieder drin.
Ja.
Nobber thinks the machine isn't working properly. But as soon as the master himself is in command, it works fine. Typical. Nobber gets even more wound up.
So, nein, Nutzen und dann passt es wieder.
Gut, danke.
Ne? Ja. Gut, also, wieder drin.
Whilst Nobber carries on his fight with the plasma cutter, Aykut is all systems go. He doesn't want to lose any more precious time.
So, Aykut. Da ist dein Blech.
Time for Nobber to present his finished work. Not bad for a first attempt. Master Aykut is pleased with his apprentice. He tries to do a really good job, the best he can. Sometimes it doesn't turn out quite the way it should, but if you show him the way you want it done, he goes and does it. He adapts, he does. Aykut is relieved that his friend is lending a helping hand. Without Nobber's help, he'd have been lost.
Aykut, das fühlt sich an wie ein geiler
There
Fahrer.
appears to be a resemblance to a certain something very feminine.
Genau. Gut, ich mal rüber.
Proudly, Aykut eyes his creation. The building process has reached the final stages.
Könnte es sein, dass wir was vergessen haben?
Aykut explains to his apprentice what the scoop is for, that it acts as a kind of windpipe for the engine. An oil-soaked air filter is fitted inside so the air can get to the engine.
Der Motor Luft, das schnauft der Motor. Das ist der Schnorchel. Ja, da kommt noch ein Luftfilter innen rein. Der wird in Öl getränkt und dann bekommt er hier Luft, gefilterte Luft und die Schläuche gehen durch den Tank und in den Motor rein.
Hast du schon irgendwelche Idee wegen Lack?
Nobber wants to know whether Aykut has got something special in mind as far as the paint job is concerned. He has indeed. He is going to let a true expert, top airbrush artist Markus Pfeil, known as Pfeili, loose on the bike. Aykut feels sure that he is the right man to do a perfect job on the stage too. The name Markus Pfeil stands for top performance in the custom bike scene. Countless bikes by countless bike builders carry the Austrian artist's stamp. The frame of Aykut's bike has already been prepared. He says he totally trusts me. And he said, no skulls. So I said, no skulls, so what else? And he said, spiders.
Dann hat er gesagt, Spinnen. Sag ich, super Spinnen.
A spider design bike, that's a first. Even Pfeili has to get used to the idea.
Oh, das Thema.
Yep, what a design. I think spiders are disgusting creatures. The base color, a smart blue with glitter. Pfeili is happy. Wow, that stuff is amazing. Cool.
Cool.
Before he gets down to actually airbrushing the spider, the basic design is created. Tribals. Markus Pfeil loves his work. It's like a drug. Once I get into it, I can't seem to stop.
Das ist Wahnsinn. So, und jetzt kommen die Spinnen.
Now for the spiders. Soon his creation is finished and drying in the sunshine.
Also,
Well, I sort of got used to the spiders by now, but yesterday I thought I could feel them crawling all over me. Pfeili enjoys imagining Aykut's reaction. Well, seeing that Aykut doesn't really know what he's going to get, I should think this is going to knock him for 6. We meet up with Aykut at the Music and Bike Weekend in Geiselwind. And of course, we want to know whether the artwork hit the spot. Bloody brilliant artwork, bang on the business. That shade of blue really goes with all the chrome and polished stainless steel. It looks just amazing. Of course, we're dying to know when the stage 2 is finally going to be finished. I'm onto it, honestly. I'm putting in 17, 18 hours a day on that bike at the moment. Not just Aykut is working on the bike like a maniac, his mate Nobbe, the carpenter, is too. Nobbe knows what a workaholic Aykut is. He doesn't mind, though. He's full of enthusiasm for a project which is so completely different to his job, and he hasn't lost any of his curiosity. Nobbe is confused. Why is the machine so low? Aykut explains that this is down to the bike's legendary chassis, which has air shocks. At the flick of a switch, you can pump them up with a compressor, and the bike goes up and into driving position. Nobbe still doesn't understand. What would you actually need that for, then? Aykut's answer is simple. Because it looks the business, that's why. Finally, both are lost in rapt adoration of the huge twin exhaust pipes, lovingly referred to as his trumpets by Aykut.
Das sind richtig handgemachte Megafone. Das sind die Hurra-Tüten.
A few finishing touches, and then it's showtime. The giant comes to life. The noise is deafening. But the triumph is soon followed by shock. Shit, what's that? Where's it coming from? What is it? Is that oil? Yes, really, oil. Let's have a look where it's pissing out of. Bloody hell, just finished her and she's drooling somewhere. I don't believe it. There's a drop here. A pipe's leaking. Look, right. This here isn't done up tight enough. It's loose.
Das ist eine Leitung undicht hier. Oh, die ist jetzt auch gezogen, siehst du? Siehst du, die ist locker.
Deadline for completion, the European Bike Week in Kärnten, the event for big twin fans and party people from all over Europe. The motto, party all night, every night, for a whole week. The event is also a fixed date in any customizer's diary. In FARC, they do business by presenting their latest creations. For Aykut Tataroglu, FARC is particularly significant. Here, he is going to introduce his Stage 2 to the public for the first time. People are curious. The muscle bike gets an incredible reaction. Bloody amazing. People are really taking a good look at the bike, asking questions. This machine is just for business, a real showstopper. Pride is written all over Aykut's face. He's really enjoying his big moment. Obligatory for each customizer is the lap of honor. At the end of the day, everyone's supposed to see that the bike actually runs. To build a compressor-driven bike is no mean feat. Aykut is overjoyed. It's a bloody brilliant, great, amazing feeling that this bike, which you've built yourself, actually runs. It's just wow. There's no way to describe that feeling, really. Aykut is in full control of his Stage 2, but with a show bike, the drivability factor is relative. I built her to promote my business. Of course, she's not really a bike to go on long-distance drives with. The idea was to show what you can do, how far you can take it. A custom bike, show bike, you do maybe 1,000 kilometers a year on it. That's more than enough.
Ding wird im Jahr vielleicht 1000 Kilometer bewegt, das reicht auch.
The Giant is extremely well received by the crowd. But what's just as important for Aykut, the feedback he gets from his fellow customizers, the crème de la crème of the German custom scene.
Hallo!
Frankie from Independent Choppers has known Aykut for ages.
Servus. Hi.
Every customizer has his own personal style, so Aykut can't wait to hear Frankie's opinion.
Absolut hochwertig, sehr viel Know-how.
Absolutely top of the range. A lot of know-how, lots of development. The style is very individual. You either love it or hate it. It's over the top, but also over the top on technology. The look is also geared towards highlighting the mind-blowing performance. I love the look. Definitely one of a kind at this event. Thomas Habermann of Habermann Performance is also a big name on the custom bike scene. Thomas is well known for not mincing his words. Interesting. This kind of flat style is interesting. Good ideas, well carried out, very innovative. Hasn't been around for ages, the compressor. Well, I think it's great. A hell of a job. It's not just the other customizers' view that counts. Aykut is also hoping to get a good ranking in the bike shows. Competition is fierce, but Aykut Stage 2 is the eye-catcher. All hard work is worth it in the end when a bike is so well received by the crowd, and they do love her.
Aykut from AT American Cycles with his new bike.
And then, the big surprise. Stage 2 comes first in the category Radical Custom. Aykut can hardly believe his luck. Can't describe it. Amazing feeling. Any customizer's best reward that the bike which you've built is popular in a show like this and comes first. That is simply indescribable. Fellow customizers congratulate him without a trace of envy. Holger says respectfully, I'm a sucker for anything weird, and the compressor is, of course, the bike's highlight, and also the handmade stuff. Can't be better. One measly prize, not for Aykut. He also wins the Custom Chrome show hands down. This is the reward, my payment for the 2,500 hours work I put into this, the time I sacrificed on this project. I can't think of anything better than winning here. Although Aykut is more than satisfied by his success, the bike builder has no illusions. There are going to be more amazing machines, sure, but not as extreme as this one, because I don't have the time and energy to build something this extreme ever again.